their reproduction parts become super small. It shrinks. And the whale ladies run away. They don't want them because they are so small. So they don't propagate. So the fish, or whales are not fish, they're mammals. Yeah. So these mammals are now slowly becoming extinct because of pollution. So what happened right now in Europe and in Canada, we totally banned the nonylphenol, but I still see a lot of that in California. So we need to know that, and we need to try and stay away from that right now if and when we are going to implement the green system into your school system. All right, so the nonylphenol is another problem that are in most of the cleaner. Questions? What is the, no question, means, no question means I understand everything or I don't give a shit. Sorry.
I'm somewhere in between.
Oh, I mean, I'm just a chemist. So I'm
the right question to ask.
Yeah. All right. I love this crowd already. Yeah. This is fantastic. Okay, so now that's in our cleaning compound. In our cleaning compound, we also have glycol ethers in there. Anybody heard of butyl? Butyl cellulose, that's what it's called, or glycol ether EB. Elizabeth and Bob, or Ed and Bob. Glycol ether EB, which is butyl. Also, we can see that in our glass cleaner. That will affect your blood production in your bones. Blood is produced in the bones, we all know that, right? From the bone marrow. So it goes into the bone marrow and it destroys the synthesis of blood so that you get leukemia. Ever heard of that? Like blood cancer and things like that. Children very young have blood cancer, so they have to drill into their bone marrow and inject other people's bone marrow to make sure that they still continue to produce blood so that they can live. You know, so it's a terrible disease, and yet sometimes we don't know. We keep on bringing the product in. Oh, this product is working really well. I really like that product. Oh, my supervisor really liked that. Or the cleaning staff likes that. But before long, they get sick. Oh, well, they get sick, that's fine because they can be replaced. Right? No, human cannot be replaced. Their parents cannot be replaced. Your son and daughters cannot be replaced. They are somebody's parents, somebody's brothers and sisters. So when we make a decision to what we are going to buy, we now know what to look for. And if we don't know, to make sure that you know. Because what you know is not going to, what you don't know is going to harm you. What you know is not important. Because once you know it, it's not important anymore. But what you don't know, did we know that the xylene, ever heard of xylene? We sometimes bring it in to remove some of the inks and solvents. That's our paint solvents. Ever heard of an old lady that was putting WD-40 on her hands and then she got better? Then she got WD-40, sort of lubricated the hands, the bones and the joints, and her arthritis went away. But it was an Inquirer, and you know that paper. They did not continue to tell you what happened to that lady, was she later could not walk and she later died from the toxicity of xylene, because xylene blocks the central nervous system so that it feels like that you don't have any more pain. So she said, oh, I'm cured. You know, that's great. But then central nervous system is blocked, she can't walk anymore. All right, so there are acute toxicity, there are chronic toxicity. Those we have to know. Also bringing in floor finishes. Now, let's talk about floor finishes. Okay? Floor finishes. Why do we coat floors? Why do we put wax on the floor?
So it doesn't wear out.
Protect wearing the floor, right?
Look pretty.
To look pretty.
Manufacturer required.
Thank you, Jim. The warranty. And the third thing, last but not least, is so that it's easy to clean, so that your floor can be kept clean. But today, when you look at floor finishes, it does everything else but have these three attributes that we're looking for. The only time it looks good is when you lay it down. And the next morning when the kids walks in, it's trash. I know, because I strip floors. And it's the most unthankful thing in this industry is to have a beautiful floor and somebody drag something over it or trash it or spill things on it and things like that. And the floor is not standing up. Why doesn't floor finish stand up? It's because they are made with styrene. This is very, very important that you learn this or know this. Styrene is a product. Styrene is a product or a byproduct from distilling the petroleum. Okay? Anybody remember the days that we used to go and buy benzene from the gas station and wash our brakes with, and sometimes carburetor? Long time ago. You know, benzenes are no longer available to the public anymore. Why? It's a carcinogen. What's a carcinogen? It changes your cell mutation in there that changes the DNA, because it affects the DNA so much that it changes the cell into an abnormal cell so that you don't have to feed that cell anymore. If you have cancer, cancer does not feed on water and air anymore. It doesn't need to be fed. It feeds on sugar. The cancer cell feeds on sugar. It has a specific enzyme that is in there to try and cook sugar. So if you want to kill a person that has cancer, you give them a lot of sweets. And vice versa. If you are a sweet tooth, you have to be very careful, because before diabetes, you might be set up with cancer, because cancer cell we all have in our body. So anyways, going back to styrene. Styrene is a byproduct of petroleum, a sister product of benzene. And if you look in American Cancer Society's list, and also, are you familiar with Prop 65? If you look in there, you would see that it's not a maybe cancer causing, like smoking used to be, may cause cancer. No, it will cause cancer, regardless. Doesn't matter. It will. So styrene, right now, at that time, because it is a byproduct, they couldn't sell it to clean the floors or do solvent or wash hands with and things like that. So what they do is they make it into a polymer, meaning they joint it together. So if it is styrene polymer, styrene oxide, they join it together, it becomes polystyrene. Ever heard of that? Polystyrene right now is being used in many, many places. But strangely enough, if you look at polystyrene,